review for The Frighteners, directed by the great Peter Jackson. This is a very interesting movie that I really like. It's definitely not for everyone. Um, I was just looking at Roger Ebert gave it 1 star out of 4. He really didn't like it. He said it looks great, great special effects, great makeup. Um, but he just didn't like it. But I really like it. Um, Peter Jackson, I think, is a really good director. Um, I mean, I don't know, some of his stuff recently, I haven't. I mean, he's been making documentaries, I think, but the Hobbit movies, yeah, they're okay. I think the first one has some really good moments. The Desolation of Smog, I think, is actually a pretty legitimately good movie. It's got a problems. Peter Jackson, I think, became too obsessed with CGI. I think throughout the years, um, but the Lord of the Rings, the 3 Lord of the Rings movies, especially the extended cuts, are great. I'm a big fan of the books, and I think he really those movies feel like Middle Earth to me. So, you know, that goes a long ways. It's kind of like with George Lucas. It's like his movies of Star Wars feel like Star Wars to me. So, that goes a long way with me. And they're flawed. I mean, especially the prequels, they're flawed, but they all feel like Star Wars to me. So, but anyways, Peter Jackson, his 3 Lord of the Rings movies, great movies. I mean, so much has been said about him, but yeah, he did this before the Lord of the Rings. I don't think he did. I think this was right before, right? Oops. So let's see. Yeah. So this is 96, Fellowship of the Rings 2001. So, but this has Michael J. Fox in it. It's apparently his last movie he did. Then he started doing Spin City, and he's a paranormal investigator, but he's also basically a crook. But it's an interesting concept because he's a crook, but it's not that the ghosts are fake. He's actually in collusion with 2 ghosts, which that's one of the reasons I like this movie, is because there's many things in the movie that are just they're familiar but different. Like that idea, it's not that it's all fake. It's that it's real, but he's in collusion with 2 ghosts. They basically haunt a place. The person that the house is being haunted, the owner calls him Fox. He comes in, and he has a machine that magically gets rid of the ghosts, and then they leave. So they pay him, they leave. So the person's happy. They have no idea that he's in collusion with these 2 ghosts. And so that's familiar but different. And you've seen maybe fake paranormal investigators, but this one's a little different. So they do that in this house of this doctor, and her husband, and in there he sees a number on the guy's head, and he thinks that the ghosts are doing it, but then later you find out that it's actually this hooded figure who's killing people and killing ghosts too. And the figure basically looks like the Grim Reaper. And Yeah, that's basically the setup for the movie. I think Michael J. Fox is very good in the movie. It's sad what happened to him with Parkinson's. It's very sad. You know, I've always liked him as an actor a lot. I mean, obviously, you have Back to the Future trilogy. Amazing movies. I mean, especially the first one. It's basically a perfect movie. It's a perfect movie. It's one of my favorite movies ever made. I've watched it so many times, and it still is. It's so impressive. And this was produced by Zemeckis, so there's the connection to Zemeckis, who directed Back to the Future, obviously. So, but yeah, this is the last movie he made, and then he did Spin City. So this movie's also written by Fran Walsh. I think it's Peter Jackson's wife, who also helped write Lord of the Rings. So respect to her as well. This is a good script with Peter Jackson directing and co-writing, and she co-wrote all three Lord of the Rings movies with him. So and Philippa Boyens. I think she co-wrote with them three all three Lord of the Rings movies. So, but but yeah, Roger Ebert gave it 1 star. Wow. Now I mean I've watched this movie years ago, but I watched the director's cut, so I don't really know. Maybe it adds some things that were cut that the studio wanted to cut, maybe. So I'm not sure. I mean, Peter Jackson likes a long movie. This is about 2 hours. It's not that long, but I don't know. Maybe the studio cut some things that were important. So the film was originally made to be PG-13. However, the MPAA thought the film was too intense for the rating and gave it an R. No matter how much Peter Jackson would edit the movie to try to get the desired rating, the ratings board would keep it R, including citing some reasons like a door was shot by a gun too many times. Man, the MPAA, like, I really don't like them. I mean, I understand that you want to have like ratings for movies, and so people don't have they could just look, oh, it's R. Okay, well, that's for adults. It's PG. That's for kids. That's fine, but man, they have like I love Friday the 13th movies, and there's a bunch of gore and a bunch of things that they cut, and it just seems so arbitrary. Especially if you look today, it's like. But anyways, yeah. So they gave Jackson a really hard time with this. Jackson being angry that he toned himself down for nothing, changed a death scene in the movie to be more graphic in order to make the rating feel more deserving. So he kept trying to do it, and then in the end, it just was R, I guess, and he made it more graphic. Oh, yeah, and this movie has great music too. I mean, it is very Danny Elfman, his Tim Burton work. Batman Returns, Sleepy Hollow, you know. Um, but I thought it was really good, the music. But it is very Elfman. In fact, I could see Elfman like working maybe a little bit with the Lord of the Rings, but the guy that they got for that is amazing too. Uh, what's his name? So obviously the music for Lord of the Rings is really good. Wow, there's like so many actors in Lord of the Rings. It's crazy. Music by Howard Shore. That's it. Okay. Yeah, that guy's amazing. But this movie also has let's see, who's the other actor that's in the Reanimator? What's that guy's name? Is it Jeffrey? Yeah, Jeffrey Combs. Yeah, yeah, and he's in the Reanimator, which is a really good movie too. Um, but yeah, I'll get into spoilers now. So the hooded figure who definitely reminds me of the ring race that you see in Lord of the Rings. And there's a bunch of things Jackson does that I could see why they chose him to make Lord of the Rings that you see in this movie, some of his other movies before this too. But Jeffrey Combs is a FBI agent, and he is investigating these mysterious deaths that the hooded figure is doing. But I'm not sure he thinks it's a ghost. He actually suspects Michael J. Fox because he also suspects that Fox killed his wife. Because Michael J. Fox was an architect, he was building a house with his wife. They were his wife. They were in a car accident, and his wife was killed by the hooded figure, and had a number on her head. And because he is a serial killer who killed 12 people, was killed in the electric chair, and then came back and is revealed, spoilers, in the end, to be working with his ex lover, Dee Wallace. So he killed Michael J. Fox's wife. This FBI agent suspects that Michael J. Fox is like a killer. He's investigating him, and and then later in the movie, Michael J. Fox finds out that this woman, Dee Wallace, who took place in the serial killing um, of that of it's Gary Busey's son, but she was let off like 5 years later or something, or 10 years later, and she lives in this creepy house with her mom. I think it's with her mom. Um, So, and then later in the movie, yeah, it's revealed that she brought him back from the ghost. She brought the ghost back. He started killing again, and she's taking part in that. So, but yeah, and in the end, they confront her, and they end up getting rid of the hooded figure, who is Gary Busey's son. And another thing that's interesting in the movie is that the guy is a hooded figure killing people, killing ghosts, but really it's almost like a ruse. He's using the image of the Grim Reaper to kind of change it off the scent of who he really is, that he is the serial that he's a killer. He killed 12 people in a hospital, so no one would really suspect it's him. Everyone just thinks it's like this Grim Reaper hooded figure. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Like, it's not just because if you just see the cover and you see a trailer, maybe you think it's the Grim Reaper, but it's actually someone, um, counterfeiting like the Grim Reaper, basically. So no other actor than Michael J. Fox was considered for the role of Frank Bannister. They're having a meeting with Robert Zemeckis about the film. His name came up. Jackson liked the idea, sent the script to Fox. Yeah, and Lee Army's in the movie. Basically, as the character in Full Metal Jacket. So yeah, it's pretty funny. There's definitely some Kubrick references. Director Peter Jackson and executive producer Zemeckis unsuccessfully campaigned to have the film released in October 1996 for Halloween week. The studio, however, wanted it to be a summer release. The movie ultimately backfired as it didn't do well in gross earnings. Yeah, I think Jackson's right with Zemeckis. This is definitely a creepy Halloween-esque movie. Peter Jackson loved Jeffrey Combs' work on the Reanimator movie so much that he's asked casting director to find out whether Combs was still available and working since he was unsure. Fortunately, Combs was available and signed up. He wore black contact lenses for this role. Yeah, I thought he was, because there's some close-ups of his eyes, and I'm like, man, his eyes have like they have like no color. Yeah, he's a really good weird actor, but he's always interesting to watch. So, Weta Digital, Peter Jackson Visual Effects Company, had to expand their capacity from 1 to 35 computers in order to meet the visual demands for the movie. They had good use for them afterwards, as their project was the special effects heavy trilogy, the Lord of the Rings movies. Yeah, there's great special effects, great makeup, great sets. I mean, the whole movie looks great. And yeah, and then the people at Weta would eventually even master their skills more with Lord of the Rings, obviously. And now they're one of the biggest effects houses out there. So if Michael J. Fox turned down the role, Tom Cruise, Matthew Broderick, what? Johnny Depp? I could maybe see Johnny Depp. He could. I think he likes this movie. John Cusack, Danny DeVito were considered for his role. Wow, Danny DeVito, that would have been weird. Oh wow, Michael J. Fox is said to have turned down the role of Edward Douglas in The Island of Dr. Monroe so he can make this film. Well, I think he dodged a massive bullet there, because that's famously, one of the worst movies ever made, maybe. Tim Burton and Sam Raimi were in contention to direct this movie at one point. I could totally see that, but I'm glad it's Jackson though. But yeah, I mean it's a really good movie, great cast. Dee Wallace is great in it too. She was in she's in Poltergeist. She's in E.T. So really good actor. Wait a minute, I thought she was in Poltergeist. Is she not? Well, she's in The Howling and Cujo, Critters. Man, her IMDb is crazy long. Wow. The Twilight Zone. Okay. I guess not. I thought she was the mom in Poltergeist. Okay. But yeah, I think that's about it. Really like the movie. I think it's a interesting, weird movie that you just don't see anymore, really. And it flopped, so that's probably why. But yeah, that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe, and that's it.